Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Passions, heart-centered conversations. Each week, it's my delight to introduce you to a special guest who shares her passion, his or her passion, in business. So today, I'm delighted to be joined by Bonnie Chomica. She's coming to you live from Vancouver Island off the west coast of Canada. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thanks so much, Yvonne.
So good to have you here. And for those of you who are watching live or rewatching the replay, if we have not yet met, I am Yvonne A. Jones of 50andwisercoaching.com. Now, many business owners struggle with content creation. How about you? Do you struggle with content creation? Now, because of this, you might be one of them. It has happened to me too, where we write sporadically. We create content sporadically because we don't have a schedule, or we might just not have the time, or we might just not know exactly what we should be creating. So as the content creation mentor, Bonnie Chomica coaches her solopreneur clients to go from sporadically creating content to consistently producing compelling and engaging content so that they can get more exposure, build their authority, and attract more clients. And isn't that what we all want? So again, Bonnie, thanks for being here with us. And so that we can get to know you a little better, would you go ahead and share something personal with us today?
Oh, sure. I think a lot of people that follow me know that I'm a gardener. My husband and I live on a third of an acre and we grow a food forest. It's, we've got 14 kinds of berries. We've got all kinds of fruit trees from figs and grapes to pears and cherries and lots of things in between. And we're just already, getting ready to plant vegetables starts this summer. And it's so, the climate here lets us be outside most of the year. So that, it's easy to grow things here. But we've also, living on an island, we have to rely more on local food because everything comes here by a ferry, on a truck. So we've been really engaged with the local, farmers markets and other growers in the area. So it's been a real great community to get acquainted with.
Oh my goodness, that sounds fantastic. And I tell you, I'm a little bit envious of the 14 varieties of berries.
I know. We have a freezer full. It's pretty good. It's very healthy.
Yes, I was about to say that. So you must stay pretty healthy. And you're probably quite adept at doing things like canning, bottling and all like that too?
Yes, that's the thing. When it comes off the plants, you've got to do something with it, and you certainly can't eat it all at once. There's only 2 of us here. So we process a lot of food, yes.
Wonderful. So that's about you personally. So to get to the business side of matters, which is why we're really here, share with us, please, Bonnie, what is it that you are truly passionate about in your business? You are the content creation mentor, but what are you truly passionate about in your business?
I really, it's a great question. And I love to see the progress or the transformation of my clients, where we talked earlier about that sporadic or randomly creating content or not creating content at all. Sometimes I get involved with business owners who are just starting out and they need to get visibility and exposure, and you showcase your expertise and they just don't know how to go about it. So when I see, the lights go off in people's heads that they get this concept, they make, they take action and they move forward, and they get a confidence that they didn't have before, that, hey, I can do this. I can move forward. And that's what I try to do, is help them create a foundation so that they can repeat what they're doing and be consistent, so they can get their message out there. And that's why most of my clients are in business, because they've got a message they want to get out. So I want to help them do that.
Wonderful. I like that where you mentioned that is so important about showcasing their expertise because, as you said, we all have a message and people won't know what you stand for, what you're about, if they don't read, hear, see, and we're talking about the different forms of content.
That's right. It's not just all written.
It's not just written. And so I love the fact that you help them to create a foundation, because once they have that foundation, then perhaps with the confidence that you help them to develop, then they don't see it as a burden. They see it as something that they want to use to increase their exposure, right?
That's right. The barrier and the burden is gone. That now they see the potential of what they can do.
I like that. Barrier and burden are gone. Oh, those one-liners. So Bonnie, at what point, because I know you have been in business for quite a while. You have been on the business side for quite a while, and you became a business owner in about 2012, I believe it is. So at what point did you discover that this was a true passion of yours, where you really wanted to help business owners, whether they were new or not, develop this confidence so that they can use content to create a foundation and grow their business on top of that?
Yeah, it's been a long evolution for me, I guess. I started out in the corporate world. I worked for a big company, AT&T Canada, where there was 50 people in the marketing department. So that was kind of my university education, all around marketing. I spent 17 years there. So I was kind of grown up around the corporate culture. And then I moved into working with startup tech companies. So now we're talking about, a company that's got 10 to 15 people. I got involved in more aspects of the business than just marketing. And it really introduced me to that entrepreneurial spirit of taking risks and being creative and just, having that energy and passion. So when my husband and I moved here to Vancouver Island, there wasn't really any marketing jobs. So I created my own business and initially started out doing content marketing for people. So wineries, print shops, restaurants, small businesses like that. So I was writing their website content, profiles, e-newsletters, social media, blog posts, all that fun stuff. And then a couple of ladies came to me who were starting and totally separate, but around the same time. They were each starting a coaching business. They were still in their jobs, took their coaching training, and came to me for coaching, not to do their stuff for them, but to find out what they needed to do and, to build that foundation. What did they need to put in place and to build on? So I worked with them, and I thought, this is way better, because working with the smaller businesses, although it was great, the winery and the restaurant and all that, it still kind of felt like I had a job. And when I started coaching people, I was able to have a deeper relationship with these individuals and see them actually grow and succeed in what they were trying to do. So it was just so much more rewarding to do that. And that's what kicked. I switched my business model from doing marketing for people to doing it with them, essentially. So that's kind of where that evolved to.
So it sounds like it chose you rather than you chose it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, whatever shows up, have a look and take advantage of it,
Yeah, so you're right when you say you evolved, because from the corporate world to working with startups, and then working for you, being an entrepreneur, and then becoming a coach to coaches. So that was quite an evolution, but all along you were able to use the skills that you had acquired over the years, and that's wonderful. It was kind of like a natural transition, as it were, though. Yeah. So
for me, it was because I had the marketing background, I had the writing background, so that it was a natural. I mean, I've had to learn things, along the way as well, as we all do, especially when you're a business owner. There's many hats to wear, So yeah, I think we're all on that evolution trail.
Okay, great. So the question that I would have for you at this point is, yes, you work with coaches, but how do you feel about how this wonderful passion that you acquired over the years, how has this impacted the lives of others? Do you have any specific examples or anything you can share with us to show the level of impact that it has had, starting with those two ladies?
I think what kind of came to the surface, which I was not really expecting, and most of my clients have some form of this, and it's a mindset issue. And I think you alluded to it in your introduction, or talking about content creation, is people, it comes naturally to some people. Some people don't like to write. Some people don't think they're good at writing. And that may be true, but you still need to get over that kind of barrier. It's another barrier. I have a client, she's a massage therapist, for example, and she doesn't like social media, and so she stays away from that, but she wanted to start a blog because she wanted to showcase her expertise. She wanted that online exposure. And she started out immediately like, writing is not my thing. And I'm like, why do you want to start a blog, right? So, but from coaching her, we pulled out, all this fantastic information and ways she could help. And instead of that, writing's not my thing, we turned it around to more of a creative, like this is a creative project. It's not a writing job, it's let's make this more meaty in a way. So she's taken a different approach now on doing that. Some people don't think they have the expertise, right? There's that, I can't remember the term off the top of my head. Imposter syndrome. Yes, exactly. Like, I think all entrepreneurs have that in some form, in some aspect of their business. And so that's another piece that I help people with. I have I deal a lot with health and wellness coaches, and they have the confidence in their knowledge of what they're coaching people on, or serving people on, their expertise. But when it comes to marketing is such a big word, and it means so many different things to so many different people. So I help them narrow it down, and how it relates to them specifically, and how we can move their business forward. You don't need to look at this person over there. So I really try to break it down for them and make it easier, so they feel confident and they've got a process and a plan that's going to give them the momentum that they need.
Excellent. I like the process and the plan, because without both, people will struggle. They can have a certain momentum, as you mentioned, for a while, but then it's going to fizzle. And so, but having that plan and having that structure, having that process certainly helps.
That's what makes them consistent, right? Instead of being random and sporadic, that keeps them accountable to be consistent.
Exactly. Now, Bonnie, I've heard many people say this, and as a coach, I deal with this as well. They don't want to write, and you said that about one of your clients. But what would you say to our audience as far as content creation? Because I think with people naturally in their head, they kind of gravitate to written format. But how else do you guide your clients that they can share their knowledge, share their expertise, and do not have to limit themselves just to text?
That's a great question, because you're absolutely right. When people think of the word content, they think text and typically a blog post. But it could include email or social media or texting. But there's also the video and audio aspect of creating content. And although typically you shouldn't have a script per se, you still need to have an outline. You need a topic and an intention for whatever that video or audio is going to be. So it still needs some planning and structure around it. A lot of people don't know how to generate topic ideas. It's like, I know all these things, but what do people want to hear about? So we work on that as well, how to come up with topics, how to research topics. And then, look at the competition or what other people, it doesn't even have to be a competitor, but look at what other people are doing who are, say, doing well with podcasts or video, and just see what's their formula for success. How do they, structure their show, or is there a theme to their topics, or are they all kind of all over the place? So that topic generation is part of it. But it's also that, again, a plan and process. You have a weekly show, so you've got a plan and a process as you pull in different people to interview. And that's really the key behind it all.
Right, exactly. And for me, and I'm sure you cover this with your clients as well, that they can repurpose content because, for example, these interviews, when I'm done with them, I post them on YouTube. They're housed on YouTube. There's the audio that I will be turning into a podcast. And what I do sometimes is that I will write a blog post based on a summary on key points that we discussed. And then I'll embed that video in the blog post. So there is just so much depth to content creation that I'm grateful, Bonnie, that you have come here today to share some of that information and to help our listeners, help our audience understand it doesn't have to be laborious. You alluded to the mindset issue before. A lot of it is just what's going on in our mind and how we perceive it. But as you said earlier, be creative. And there's so many ways. So for the benefit of those who are listening, will be watching, what are one or two tips or words of encouragement that you would give someone who is relatively new to the online world? And that's the other thing too, that whether someone is online or offline, they need content.
Absolutely.
So it has to be created somehow and somewhat. But what are a couple of tips that you would give individuals for how to either change their perspective or what they can do to make it more fun, bring some fun to the whole challenge?
Well, I certainly like to have fun. I think when people are starting out, it's so overwhelming, and they get they're typically searching on their own because they don't have money to put out. So they're trying to consume a lot of blogs and videos and what should I do, training courses and things like that. But it all comes down to you have to have a website. You have to have a website because you own that content. And that's your foundation. That's your front door to your business online. Whether people find you from search or say, watching me on this, if someone goes to my website, that's, I want to welcome them into my space. Versus social media, for example, a lot of people say, oh, I got to be on all of these social media places. You don't own that space. It's rented space, right? I mean, we experienced that, I think it was just last year when Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp all went down for a whole day. Mm-hmm. Oh, everyone was in such a kerfuffle, it was, so your content is gone. You could lose your account. But if you have that focus on having a website, and it doesn't have to be complicated either. Your website is never finished. I'll just put that out here right now. Mm-hmm. But think of that as an evolving project as well, kind of like your garden, right? Your garden, if you're planting perennials or annuals, they're going to have different time capacities and different priorities. And so you need to think of that. And the other thing is start building an email list. Start having, whether there's a free account on MailerLite or whatever the platform is, that again is something that you own. It's not rented space. Your mailing list is your own, and people wait too long to start that. So make each one a project, make each one, just like maybe decorating your house or, shopping or something. Make it so that it's not a mindset issue. That's like, hey, I'm going to work on my website on Monday. And that's all you do on Monday. Don't do half an hour here and 15 minutes here, because you won't get that full capacity of your brain and your ideas into that. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, very powerful points. Absolutely. And I love the point that you emphasize about we don't own social media. And someone somewhere can decide that we breached some rule that we may not be aware of, but you're blocked or your account is taken down or something like that. And everything that you put into that, if that's the only place you're housing your content, will be lost. So Bonnie, that is really a very good point. It's something that's near and dear to my heart because I've seen it happen to individuals before. And this is something that I preach and I teach when it comes to, owning your own space, your own home, taking people to your own home and taking them to a big playing field, which is what social media basically is. So thank you very much for sharing those very educational points. And I love that you remind people, be creative. View it as something that you're doing for yourself and for your business, not as a chore. Because it's like gardening. Some people say, oh, I don't have a green thumb and I like it. You know what? It's also a mindset. It's also a mindset.
Totally.
And Bonnie is a great example. 14 different kinds of berries.
I'll send you some.
That would be lovely. Okay, and I have your contact information here, which we'll also put in the comment section below the recording. Your website is, if you want to go ahead and just tell us what that is, Bonnie.
Sure. Yeah, it's just my name, BonnieChomica.com. Bonnie is BONNIE and Chomica is CHOMICA, BonnieChomica.com. And at the top of the homepage, there's a free gift there that you can sign up for.
Excellent. Excellent for throwing that in. So thank you so much for being here with us today. I enjoyed this conversation and I hope that our listeners or audience, for the listeners or viewers, that you did also. And if you were not here live, we'd love to have you just hit replay, hashtag replay, to let us know that you viewed, you listened to, you watched the recording of this. So thank you very much for being here, Bonnie.
Thank you so much, Yvonne.
You're very welcome. And until next time, this is Yvonne E. Jones saying bye for now.